Good evening, my audience. This is George Ondeck with the latest edition of the George Ondeck Show. It's a beautiful summer evening in July, and I'm very fortunate tonight to have a local author with me, Mr. A. Longus, who's a Westchester resident. And what is the name of the book you've written?
Yes, it's the Adventures of Silvana and the Magic Unicorn.
And what is it all about? Where did you get the idea for this? And what is the meaning of this unicorn we have on the
Well,
desk
he's
here?
one of the principal characters. What happens is that I based the book on my little nieces, and Silvana's my eldest niece. And basically she goes through, back and forth through time, to experience the culinary delights of her life, pasta and pizza, and finds out when and where it was invented, and she gets to actually see when it was invented.
Where and when pizza and pasta was invented.
Yeah.
Of course it was Italy, right?
Yeah.
So how does that tie in with the unicorn and the children?
Well,
maybe you could explain more to my vast audience.
Sure. The Silvana comes across a magic unicorn from her uncle. In Italian, the name is Zio. That's uncle. It's used universally.
You're Italian, right?
Yes.
All right.
And she rides the unicorn. Eventually, she befriends the unicorn through her uncle, and she's able to go back and forth through time because it's a magical unicorn. So it's actually a Pegasus. A flying unicorn is a Pegasus, but a few people know what a Pegasus is.
Yeah, what is a Pegasus and what is a unicorn? An imaginary animal?
Well, they're both imaginary animals.
In fiction?
Yes, exactly. And one flies and one doesn't.
And where do they fly from? The United States to Italy? Or?
Yes, actually, that's how it works. She basically goes from her upstate New York residence. She goes on top of Pippo, and she goes to Italy, and she lands to various places where the pizza and pasta were invented. Also other things, cultural things that she sees on her.
On the picture of the book, I see two children, and it appears like a lady. Who are?
Actually, the one on the top here, is the oldest one, is Silvana, and these are her little sisters.
Okay.
Sophia.
How old is Silvana supposed to be about?
About a fourth grader, so I would say 8 or 9 years old.
And the two younger children.
One is 2 years younger than her, and the other one's 4 years younger.
And they're going all the ways to Italy to learn about the origins of how pasta and pizza is made.
Well, actually, Silvana goes there. I introduced them because I didn't want them to. There were children at that time I was writing. I didn't want them to feel left out. But
this
book, it has something
this
to do
book
with it.
would appeal to like children of all ages, and
Yes, it's basically ideal for fourth graders. But I find that even smaller children, younger children, actually, like have their loved one read to them, so they could follow. And I have a teaching background, and even small children are able to pick up a few words by rote. So if someone keeps reading it to them, they'll learn certain words by sight, and they have an interest. They'll develop an interest in reading further.
It seems like in libraries or schools or bookstores, it would be a good place for you to appear with the book and present it to children. Have you ever thought of that, Mr. Longus?
Yes, I have, and I'm working to do various library book signings and other things like Italian American clubs, or just any club, any place where
possibly a flea market,
exactly,
where there's thousands of people.
Yes.
And, what gave you the idea for the book? I've wondered about that.
Well, I was there when my sister was reading a nursery rhyme to Silvana, and I noticed that the book that she read missed a lot of rhymes, like easy rhymes. And I said, well, I could do better. I think I could, do at least as well as.
What's a rhyme?
A rhyme book, like The Cat in the Hat, Sat.
Oh, right.
So I said, well, since I have a teacher's background, I really don't want to do just rhyme books.
You have a teacher's background. You've taught elementary school children?
Yes. I actually also did substitute teaching for anywhere from K to 12.
Wow. So you have a lot of experience teaching children.
Different various subjects, all the subjects basically, because I was certified from K to 6, but I actually also did substitute teaching for K to 12.
And you've visited Italy, is that correct?
Many moons ago.
Okay.
Yes. But, I love it.
And it's sort of your heritage too. Pasta and pizza and how it's made.
Exactly.
And it would be interesting for the children,
See,
all children to learn that, right?
Exactly. Well, I initially also wrote the book because I want to have children get engaged with activities with their loved ones. It's a good way to bond with your family. And, I don't know any child that doesn't like pizza and pasta. I mean, that's
not only children, adults,
everybody.
So they could benefit with the book too. While reading it to the children, they could learn, if they're Italian, a lot about their heritage, about how pizza and pasta. Is it how pizza and pasta is made, or how it came about?
We have a recipe, in the book, but you could substitute anything. If you want, like margarita pizza, you could substitute. But it's just a way to get family members or loved ones engaged with their children, and the children love to do this kind of stuff.
And it's like a magical ride. It's like something like riding on a magic carpet.
Exactly. Going back and forth through time, so she could see the sights, the beautiful sights there, and also learn a little bit about the culture.
Where in Italy do they land with the unicorn?
Oh, well, the pasta, if you go by the earliest records, actually was invented in Sicily.
In Sicily?
In Sicily. The earliest known, prototypes, I guess, of modern-day pasta was created in Sicily in ancient times. And pizza was invented in Naples.
It really was invented in Naples? Yes. I had heard rumors it was invented in the Bronx, that they make the best pizza, but not comparable to Naples, Italy, right?
No, actually it goes back probably into the 1500s.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So as a matter of fact, there was the margarita pizza came about because the Queen of Italy visited Naples, and she liked the pizza. They basically created a pizza for her that had the Italian flag, which was basil, right? It was the green, the mozzarella.
I really like margarita pizza too, and I've tried them all from Yonkers to Northern Westchester to Mayapack. I've probably hit every pizza place there is, because I'm not Italian, but I love Italian food.
Gastronomically, you're Italian.
Pasta, lasagna, managort, ziti's.
Most people like all that.
Zuppa de pesce.
Yeah, I love that. That's my favorite, zuppa de pesce, yeah.
If people want to get a copy of this book, what do they have to do? Do they go on a certain website?
Yes.
Can they order it through like Barnes & Noble on an email?
Well, actually, it's copywritten, but you go to ETHNICFABLES.com.
ETHNICFABLES.com?
Yes, ETHNICFABLES.com. And they could look through all the links I have. And there's one, actually, I wrote a book in Sicilian, the real old Sicilian that my mother helped me with.
Can they get a copy of this in Sicilian?
Yes, they can.
See, that's something that may have never come out before. So it's possible on my TV show, which not only is shown on Altice, Optimum, I'm also shown on YouTube all over the world. Yes. So if you have an Italian version, maybe they can get it in Italy.
Yeah, so we're working on that too.
And that would be charming.
Well, it's available on Amazon. Amazon is actually where it's sold. So it goes anywhere, anywhere in the world, and it's translated. The directions how to buy and all that is also on there. But it's available in various formats.
How long did it take you to write the book, Mr. Longus?
It did not take me that long. I would say to come up with the idea, about a couple hours, I would say.
No, how long did it take you to write the book, Bud?
It took a few months because I had to find the right publisher.
And how do you find, what do you decide, you have an idea, how do you sit down and start putting it in writing and get it edited so it'll come out in the book form?
Well,
I want to learn how to write a book because I may have a book in me.
Okay.
You know?
Well, you would have to get a manuscript first.
What's a manuscript?
Basically, you jot down notes like
Just
you're writing a book, and eventually, once you have it to the way you like it, then you would, try to get it digitalized. You would basically go on the website, and you have to select a publisher. Mine is print on demand, which is great because I don't have to buy a mess of books all at once, and it can get really costly. And this is printed on demand. If you want to, then they'll print it too. So this is fantastic.
So they can buy it online as well. Can they buy a hardcover or a softcover version?
Well, this is it's available in paperback. This is considered a paperback. Paperback, and they will be delivered to them, or they could get it as an ebook.
An ebook also.
So they download. They could download. I also have downloads where I narrate, and also there's music because I also play musical
instruments. Wow, you do that as well, huh?
Yeah, musical instruments.
How do they read? How do they get that version of the book?
They just go online. On Amazon, it will have the different versions. We'll have the Italian version, English version of the paperback, and also CDs.
Have you ever thought about doing an animated version of it, or getting an animator to Disney or something like that?
I was working on it. As a matter of fact, trying to raise funds for that to come to fruition. Again, you could go on ETHNICFABLES.com and go through all the links. There's something there for everyone, and there's also links to some very well-known charities too. So, but it's I think people would be very satisfied to go through there.
And again, what is the main thesis, or what is the story all about, other than what I've brought up with you so far?
Well, the child likes pizza and pasta. She always wondered where the origins of it were. And my nieces, in real life, their father is from Naples, so that's why I got the idea of doing pizza, because kids love pizza, and their heritage is also Neapolitan. On my sister's side, obviously, since I'm Sicilian, she's Sicilian American. And,
did you have any help in creating the information for the book, or did you do this all on your own? Or?
I did it pretty much all on my own.
Wow.
And but with the Italian version, the Sicilian dialect, I had my mother and also my my aunts, and my aunt and uncle work on it too.
It's a very original idea you've had. I mean, I don't think anyone else thought of sending children on a magical ride to learn about their heritage, to learn about how pizza and pasta is made.
Well, see, I wanted to incorporate, the fact that I had teaching skills, and I wanted to tell a story, but also teach children something. That's why I decided to not do a rhyming book so much, even though children learn from rhymes too. But I wanted to go a little more into depth with, a history and culture, and open up different worlds for children. And I actually went to different schools. One in particular, it's a local school. They had me talk to the children about the book, and they were very enthusiastic about it. They knew more about the book than I did. They really were into
Mr. Longus, you must have been very curious as a child how this all came about. Did your curiosity lead you to one day decide to write this book?
I would say so, because when I was a child, I used to tinker with things. I used to break them, but now I'm able to fix them. As a child, I was curious to take things apart, couldn't put them back together, but now I'm pretty handy.
I know you've written this book. It's a child's book. are you thinking in the future of writing a second book?
Actually, since this book came out, I have a nephew now. He's going to be 5 years old in the end of July. And I thought maybe I would do a book where he's the main character, just like Silvana was the main character for this book.
And what do you think the main thesis of that book would be?
It's going to be something similar, but I think instead of a magic unicorn, I'm just going to play it straight and make it more, down to earth type of thing. So a little different, so it's a different feel.
Expound on that more further.
Well, actually, I was thinking, again, that he will learn about so many different things, aspects, different parts of Italy operate almost like different countries. You go from one region to another. People can't even understand each other from one region to another.
Well, that's something like America, too. If you go down south, they have a different dialect than New England or New York.
Yeah, that's true, too. But, so I'm going to explore that further. Maybe do something else with, the other Sicilian cooking, because the child is part Sicilian, I think, from Abruzzese, which is Abruzzo.
Abruzzo?
In the central southern part of Italy too. So I might just do something about their culture and incorporate it in the story.
Wow. Speak more about the book, about yourself. What made you come to write this book? What's your future? What do you see besides being an author from Mr. A. Longus?
Well, I want to, branch out in other things, but, I would like to do another book, like I said, based on my...
Again, with an Italian theme to it?
An Italian theme, so that this, my nephew, will, learn a little bit about his culture, his particular culture. And there's so many things. You can learn all the different types of cooking and pastries Italy has.
You ever think of writing a cooking book?
Well, I have an appreciation for good food, but I'm not a good cook. Whatever little I do very well, though.
I've recently gone to a cooking class at Presbyterian Hospital, which was Hudson Valley Hospital in Peekskill, and I found that very interesting. Well, it sounds like something you would be interested in, and possibly pursue that as an idea for a book in the future.
That's not out of the question, so that's something I would
New York Presbyterian Hospital, very fine hospital, and they have cooking classes there for seniors. You're not a senior,
not yet.
You're a lot younger than what I am. What's the future hold for Mr. A. Longus? Will you ever go back to teaching? You told me you taught at one time.
Actually, I might just do that. Maybe set up a platform to teach children, and have different teachers there come in and teach various subjects.
Have you ever thought of teaching children online? That seems to be a big thing now.
Yes, it's going to incorporate that too. That's what I would.
I see a future where there may be schools without walls. You have someone online teaching children.
Skype. Basically, you could do that with Skype.
Isn't that Skype amazing? But I was a veteran. I was a veteran in Vietnam. And fortunately, after I came back, I was married, and my child was born about a year later. But I'm hearing a soldier in a combat zone today, due to Skype, can see his child being born. And I know someone in the family, and I find that so amazing.
That's
that
great.
When I was a soldier, we were happy to get a handwritten letter that a week or 2 or 3 weeks old with and the modern technology today, what it can do, and what it can do with books. I mean, you have those audio books now.
There's the ebook and also
e-books and
MP3s,
e-newspapers. I am from the old school. I want to hold something in my hand.
Exactly.
A book,
you brought
a newspaper.
You brought up a good point, because parents see how their children are always on devices. That's not necessarily good for them.
Right.
So, and smaller children, younger children would they like to feel like a book. And
Really?
look through that, so they could
I
feel
thought
it
like
and
2,
control it.
3, 4 years old now, children are already on these things.
Well, they are, but they appreciate when somebody reads to them, and they could go
Because
through the
I'm
book.
very
and-
worried about the future, that newspapers will be gone, Barnes and Noble will be gone, and everything will be email and looking at a computer and hitting with your fingers on a digital thing.
Well, you see, the problem with having everything digital is that it could be wiped out accidentally. With this,
That's
you can't
true.
wipe it out.
That's
That's right
true,
there.
yeah.
I've seen a book from the 1500s.
Right.
So books last basically forever. So there are books that are probably 2,000-3,000 years old. But with the digital, who knows? It could be accidentally erased. So at least you got something tangible, something that children learn by sight, tactile. They have to touch it. So there's a lot of different ways that you engage children.
And
to
if
learn.
you have a physical book, you bought the book. But when you buy a book online, how do you read it again and again? Is it still online? Because I'm not familiar
Well,
with
basically what happens is you go online, you pay for it, you download it onto your computer. You could store it anytime you want on any folder you want, and you have it there. As long as your computer doesn't crash, and if you have
that's a big thing. As long, because I'm thinking again old time records with people or DVDs, right?
Yes.
You have the physical record or physical DVD.
DVD.
But now, they have a thing called eTunes or something. So
iTunes.
what do you have to do? Pay each time you hear a song? If you have a DVD or a record, you can hear it 1,000 times, and you don't
exactly.
get charged
So if you have
over
something
and over
physical,
again.
if you have something physical, it's always best because you could control how you store it. With now there are advances on for online storage. So but if you're not adept with electronics or digital material, then
Can you
obviously
buy a book and it get wiped out due to computer glitch or something
that could
like
happen.
that?
Yeah, anything's possible. But if you have a hard copy,
Or if someone, what do you call that when they interfere with it?
yeah, it's like online theft. They
Yeah. Oh no, they deliberately block out something.
Yeah. There's
That's
a lot of
why
different ways.
I prefer a physical book.
Well, and this is the other point too. Not only do children, but grandparents or loved ones that are from my generation or older prefer to have something that they could
And
read
also,
through.
if you're at a book signing, you physically sign a book.
Yes.
Whereas online, how do you sign a book for somebody?
Well, you could digitally sign the book, but it's not the same
I'm thinking
thing.
about now for collectors. If I had your book and it's an original copy and you signed it, I can resell it to somebody as something valuable if you become a #1 bestseller. But online, how do you do that? It's not the same
It's not
thing.
the same. It's because it's not really. You're basically getting a one-time signature, and replicating, and you're putting it, on artificially onto each of
Is
both of
it
these.
the type of book that would be heartwarming for children? Is it uplifting?
This is.
Is it the magic ride, like on a magic carpet?
Well,
not
it's a-
only
yes,
a
it's-
magic. And by the way, what's the name of this unicorn?
Oh, it's Pipo.
Pipo?
Yeah, it means little Joe in Italian.
Pipo.
Yeah.
Toto Pipo. No, there was somebody, Toto Gio or something.
Topo Gigio.
Yeah, he was with a magician a long time ago.
Ed Sullivan too. I played.
Yeah, you've heard of Ed Sullivan.
I've seen.
And you're a young guy. You saw it on, what do you call it?
Reruns.
I'm thinking of venues where you may possibly sell this book. Have you ever thought of going to Italian organizations or Italian clubs?
I've done that. Now, I'm going to up it. Take it up a notch, and
Because it teaches them about their heritage.
Exactly.
About how these foods are produced by magic.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
by magic, by a lot of ingredients.
Well, you don't have to be Italian to appreciate it, because I'm Italian, but I like
Oh,
Japanese food
me
or
too,
Chinese
like
food
I
or
said
stuff.
before.
So it's people love food. So
And I'm thinking
anybody who loves food, loves pizza and pasta, it doesn't matter.
I'm thinking another good time to sell at Christmas time when
Yes.
children like presents and books. That would be a nice. And what is that on the ground there
Oh, okay.
on my table? Not only your book. What do you have there?
This is actually a CD.
CD.
Yes, as a matter of fact, the older books. This I like it. I got this older book because I like the colors of it.
Right.
And I made a CD. It's a narration, so it narrates the books, especially
Wow.
for children who don't know how to read yet,
Yeah.
or have difficulty reading.
And that's an audio version.
Yes.
Of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No,
Is that both in Italian and English?
I was trying to work on an Italian. It was very hard to find somebody that speaks the
How
old
about
dialect.
your grandma?
Oh, she's passed.
Oh.
She's passed.
Or Nonna or
Yeah,
Mama?
well, I used to call her grandma,
Yeah.
but
In Italian for grandma, how you say it?
nonna.
No.
It
That's
is-
similar to Albanian too.
Yeah, well, it's nannies, even the word,
Nanny.
and you could see where the etymology comes from.
But it does sound like you've written a very interesting book for children. All children should have it because it's a magical ride.
It also engages children to be with their loved ones, and they work on making food together. It doesn't have to be pizza or pasta; it could be anything. But at least we'll give them an idea
Okay.
what to do.
Mr. Longus, we're about to wrap it up. Is there anything you'd like to say in closing about the book, about being on my show tonight?
Well, I thank you for the opportunity, and people could go to ETHNICFABLES.com, and the name of the book again is The Adventures of Silvana and the Magic Unicorn, and you go to ETHNICFABLES.com, and there are other links there, and you can help me make my dream of making an animated film.
Animated film.
Yeah.
My audience, it's been a pleasure to have Mr. Longus on my show tonight, and I'm going to tell you how I met him at a local coffee shop. So if you happen to see me at a local coffee shop or a shopping mall, just say, "Hello, George," and who knows, you may be the next guest on the George Ondeck Show. Till next time, enjoy your pizza, enjoy your pasta, and take a magic ride with Mr. Longus on the unicorn with Silvana.
Thank you.
Till next time, ciao. Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you.
Hey.